It's time for today's travel and cruise industry news. With the latest from travel and cruises around the world, here's your host, Chillie Falls.
Good morning and welcome to the Travel and Cruise Industry News Podcast. On this, the 23rd day of August 2023, coming to you on our way to Juneau. We don't get into Juneau for another couple hours yet, but we're getting close to that area. Of course, up here in Alaska, we're traversing the Stevens Passageway currently. We're into some mountains now that have some snow up on the higher elevations. So you can definitely tell we're in Alaska. The water in Stevens Passage is like completely calm. There's like no current movement at all that you can see. Of course, with the ship going, that makes some ripples and so forth. But it's just, I didn't see it ever this smooth when I've been up here. But it's really nice. What I was hoping, because of it being so cold, calm, that if anything breaches, like whales or dolphins or anything else, you could really be able to see them because of the movement of the water. But so far this morning, I haven't seen a thing. So if that happens, you never can tell. All right, guys. One quick announcement. We will have the solo cruise show deal show today, which will be at 1 o'clock. 1 o'clock my time. Pete's going to be running the show. If my signal holds out, I'll be with him. I will, of course, be talking about our new solo hosted solo cruise on the Norwegian Epic in January, and a couple other deals that they're offering this week. So that'll be this afternoon at 1 o'clock Eastern time. Tomorrow we'll be going into Skagway, and I'm going to visit my friend Nate's office. We'll probably have a little lunch while we're in Skagway. So that'll give me something to do there tomorrow. Yesterday in Ketchikan, I just rolled around the area. I didn't go on a excursion per se, but I ended up having lunch at the Krusty Krab. And I had some salmon chowder that was just to die for. It was so good. So I enjoyed that. We do have a couple stories this morning. There's not a whole lot of news going on, folks, other than, weather-related stuff. Of course, we do have to look at the weather. We've got one area in, some harm's way today. A couple cruise ships have had to alter their itineraries. Carnival also blasted rumors about gratuities. Tell you what John Heald had to say about that. The big price increase for Portside Bar-B-Que. And I mean a big one too. Like some things were 45 or 46%. So a pretty good chunk of increase there. And lots more here at 11 o'clock this morning. Today, folks, is National Sponge Cake Day. I eat sponge cake, not my favorite. I will have a little sip of coffee. It was also one of my friends pointed out to me that I hadn't said anything about my vegetable levels.
Yeah, then we're gonna
So I'm going to have to work on that here today also. But it's early. I mean, the bars aren't open yet because here on the let's see, it's just now 5 after 7 ship's time. So I see my guys down there setting it up. Of course, again, I'm on deck 9 in the main pool area on the Lido deck, which is been a reasonably good place for signals, and it's a marvelous view as you keep looking out. All right, if you are listening via the podcast, you're always welcome here. Of course, you can always access the podcast via my blog, which is accessadventure.net, or wherever you get your podcasts from. All the big guys just search for travel and cruise industry news, and up pops the Fat Travel Guy. All the big guys have it's registered, tune in, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Podchaser, Pandora, Stitcher, Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, any of them. Just search for travel and cruise industry news. That's all you have to do. Anytime you're listening via your podcast, you can always access the video link just by going to the description of your podcast, and there'll be a link there. You just click on it and hop over to the video feed if you want to take a look at any pictures or clips or interviews that I might be doing on that day's show. All right, don't forget this afternoon, 1 o'clock, we're going to do the solo deal show. Any of you might be interested in the Epic. If you're not solo, let me know. I can work that out for you. And then you can just join us in the solo group. All right, let's take a look at the weather here this morning. First thing, folks. Franklin is near the south coast of the Dominican Republic. Heavy rainfall and potentially life-threatening flash flooding is likely across Hispaniola. Currently, it's about 120 miles center up. It's about 120 miles southwest of Santo Domingo, Dominican Republic. Maximum sustained winds are 50 miles an hour. Present movement is north at about 10, which actually is quite a bit faster than this time yesterday. The minimum pressure is sitting at 1,000, and it is dropping. Franklin is moving toward the north, and a north to northeastward motion is expected for the next day or so, followed by a turn toward the northeast and the east-northeast tomorrow. The center of Franklin is expected to cross the island of Hispaniola today and emerge over the southwestern Atlantic waters later today or tonight. As of 2 p.m. yesterday, Amber Cove and Tano Bay, both in the Puerto Plata area, are closed until the storm passes. The two main cruise ships that were affected by that were the Carnival Celebration and MSC Seascape. Carnival Celebration have just rerouted the schedule this week and played chess with where they're stopping each day. Seascape just cut today out of their schedule and will continue on it with a day at sea. And if you can see here, the Franklin is approaching Hispaniola as we speak. All right, Harold is weakened while crossing northern Mexico. However, heavy rains continue. Brought a lot of rain yesterday to Texas. Currently, it's about 235 miles south of Midland, which is about 340 miles southeast of El Paso. Maximum sustained winds are about 30. Present movement is to the west-northwest at 14 miles an hour. The pressure has risen now to 1,005. Harold's expected to dissipate as a tropical cyclone, and its surface center devolves while tracking across northern Mexico. Now, if you refer back to the map out in the east tropical Atlantic, this one of the X's, disorganized showers and thunderstorms continue in association with a tropical wave located several hundred miles west of the Cabo Verde Islands. Environment conditions are forecast to become more conducive for some development later in the week, and a tropical depression could form by the weekend while the system moves west-northwest to northwestward across the central tropical Atlantic. Over the next 48 hours, they're only talking about 10% chance of further development, but that jumps up to 40% chance over the next 7 days. The other X in the central tropical Atlantic is an area of low pressure centered several hundred miles east-northeast of the Leeward Islands. This is actually the remnants of former tropical storm Emily. Emily, if you're on the show today in the chat room, please go away. You're being a pain in the butt. No, actually, it's hanging on rather well, producing a large area of disorganized thunderstorms. Upper level winds are forecast to become more conducive for development in a day or so, and the system could regenerate into a tropical depression or tropical storm later this week. Emily, you got to do better, darling. Anyway, the system's going to move northward over the subtropical and central Atlantic. Chance of formation in the next 48 hours is 40%, but it jumps up to a 60% chance of regenerating over the next 7 days. So, all right. We do have a new one that's popped up out in the Pacific. And it's an area of low pressure expected to intensify some offshore of the coast of Central America or southern Mexico during the next couple of days. Environmental conditions appear generally favorable for gradual development of the system, and a tropical depression is likely to form late this week while it moves slowly to the northwest or northwest. Chance of formation over the next 48 hours is rated at 30%, but a chance of 70% over the next 7 days. So definitely got to keep our eye on this one. Of course, the Pacific has been extraordinarily active for this early in the hurricane season. All right, I'll be back with a couple more things, and then we'll go visit the chat room right after a quick word from one of our network sponsors. All right, the next story has to do with our friends over at Carnival. Carnival Cruise Line Ambassador John Heald felt compelled to address some wild rumors that had been making the rounds. Heald quoted a comment he'd recently received, which suggested that Carnival is not giving these tips to the crew in addition to their salary, but instead they're using this money to pay their salary. Essentially, the person who wrote the comment implied that the daily gratuity charge collected for each passenger was not supplementing the salary paid to the crew, but comprising the salaries. Heald took it upon himself to address the rumors and revealed at least one source of the misinformation. This comes from a Facebook group page, he explained. It's moderated by a person who continues to spout such nonsense like this. I found it to be a fruitless exercise trying to reason with her anymore, so I blocked her from the page. Heald went on to say that normally he would never comment on this, but let me say categorically that this is nonsense, totally 100% false, 100% inaccurate. Despite what they write, please do not believe this. It is utter fabrication and untrue. That's pretty strong words from John Heald. Don't blame me. You get some people like that. They just want to cause controversy and have no rhyme or reason for doing it. All right, some of you maybe have eaten at this establishment. Royal Caribbean has quietly increased prices at the popular Portside Bar-B-Que on Oasis of the Seas by as much as 40%. Portside is an a la carte dining option on deck 15, serving a variety of meats and sides, plus signature drinks and desserts. All prices across the board have increased. Well, one of them, the largest one I saw at least, that I ran the calculator on, was the banana pudding. I think it's banana, anyway, it's like banana pudding. That went up 46%. So I don't know if that is a trial run on the pricing or if they're in fact going to raise prices, across all of their signature restaurants. All right, that's going to wrap up the news portion of the day. Let's go see who's in the chat room this morning. Joanne is here. Hi, Joanne. Steve's here out in Kentucky. Hey, Mike. Mike's with us. Nikki's here down in Jacksonville. There's Emily. Hello, Emily. Yeah, Emily, you're hanging on and you're going to regenerate and cause more trouble. Just like you. I am enjoying that. I do enjoy Alaska, folks. I really do. As much as I like the Caribbean and the warm water and the sunshine, there's just something about Alaska that just calls me. I just, thoroughly like it. I could just sit and watch this water and look for whales all the time and be totally happy. Yeah, Joanne says 40% is really high. Yeah, I thought it was ridiculous. So, all right, guys, going into Juneau later on today. I don't know if I'm going to do probably just roll around town. When I was in Juneau last, it was cold, rainy, snowy up on top of the mountain. I don't know if I'll go back up to Mount Roberts today or not. I haven't decided yet. I'm going to get off the ship. I'm going to roll around a little bit, do some filming. I did some filming for Scoot Around yesterday. So I'll be working on a piece for them, which will go on the Scoot Around Will Power Chair website at some point in time. But that's probably on the agenda today as well. And then tomorrow we're in Skagway, and I'm going to go pal around with Nate for a while. Of course, I'll be on the cruise with Nate next week. So that's where we're doing our big excursions. Of course, I've got two main excursions to do next week. I'm going to go visit Michelle Phillips' kennel and play with the puppies. And that's up in the Yukon Territory. Pretty good drive from Skagway. And then we're going on a whale watching adventure, 3-hour whale watching adventure, which I've never been able to do before. So I'm really, really excited about both of those for next week. So I don't mind taking it a little bit easy this week because of that. So, all right, guys, that's going to wrap it up for today. Again, don't forget 1 o'clock this afternoon as the solo cruise deal show with Pete. And we're going to talk about the Norwegian Epic hosted solo cruise in January 28th of 2024 from Port Canaveral. Really good deals on that one. and a couple other regular solo deals for this week. And other than that, I'll see everybody back here same time tomorrow. This is the old fat guy living the life in Alaska, having a great time. As always, guys, stay safe. Excuse me, stay safe, stay healthy. Think about cruising, and hopefully one day soon we'll all get together on the high seas. Have a great day, everybody. See you back here tomorrow morning at 11 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Have a great day, y'all.
I regularly post videos on all facets of the travel and cruise industry. So if you like to keep up with the latest in cruise ships, ports of call, cruises themselves, Chillie chats, and travel and cruise industry news, just hit the little subscribe button in the lower right-hand corner, hit the bell notification so you'll be notified when a new video is up or we go live. This video was produced by Chillie's Cruises.